My Miami? It's a one-of-a-kind combination of bold, vibrant art that's made to be free, to go on stages, walls, or become them. It all leads me to a world filled with warm waters and extraordinary trails. This is when I'm at my best, when I'm embracing my art venture side. This is my Miami. What's yours?
Hey, what's up, Hilo News family? Welcome to another episode of Can We Talk? Hilo News is a show where we talk to dope people in the community doing dope things. And today is no different. I'm so excited to have my next guest on. She's doing some cool things in the real estate area using technology. And you know what? She's from South Florida. She's homegrown. So without further ado, I would love to bring to the show Nadia Davis. Hey, Nadia, what's up? Hey.
Hi. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, South Florida, born and raised. I was born in Miami. I'm in Broward now, and I'm so happy to be bringing more business to the South Florida area.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today on Hilo News' Can We Talk podcast web series. And, I just want to jump right into the conversation because I was reading up on you and I love what you created with your company's show agents. Tell the people who may not know about you, how you got started. And honestly, I want to know about that story. You tell a specific story about your family and your dad. So tell us, what was that inspiration to create this app that you have?
Sure. So just generally, show agents is a business that connects real estate agents to local showing assistants that can show properties and attend appointments on their behalf. So we make it a lot easier for agents to manage their work and life, right? By having basically a team of people in the field that can be there to open properties for their buyers or their clients when they physically can't make it. So the story that I always tell, which really is the catalyst for this entire business, happened a couple years ago on Thanksgiving Day. So my dad is a real estate broker, and he has been for basically my whole life, 20 plus years. So this is something that kind of always happens. But that morning, he got a call from a client, and this client wanted to see a property that day on Thanksgiving Day. And he knew this particular client wasn't gonna like the property, but being a real estate agent, sometimes you still just kind of gotta let them see it, feel it out for themselves. And so basically he scheduled to show the property before we were going on our way to Thanksgiving dinner. So it was like a stop on our way to my aunt's house. So we went, all of us in the car, him, me, my sister, my mom, and we're sitting in the car. This client arrives late. They go look at the property. Of course, they don't like the property. My dad already knew. And then now, it's an hour plus later, and we're finally headed to dinner. And then while we were in the car, my dad was like, wow, I wish I could have paid someone to do that for me. And that was really the light bulb moment, because I was like, why can't you have someone do that for you? Especially someone in the area who can just open the door, let the person see the property. And if it works, okay, you talk to that client and you move forward. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. That person makes a little bit of money on the side, and everyone's happy. And so from that day on, I kind of just started doing research. I was like, okay, well, what's out there for solving a problem like this? What are agents doing right now to solve problems like this? What do they do when they're on vacation? What do they do when they need a sick day, right? Real estate's just one of those industries that's always moving. You don't really get a day off. So yeah, from there, I just started doing research. Didn't really find anything that solved the solution in the way I thought it should be solved. And then from there, I just started creating it myself. I felt it was my calling to really make this real. And yeah, that's how it all started.
That's really creative and innovative. And kudos to you and congrats to you. Because when I was reading up on it, I was like, yo, you never think about that. It's always that, all of my friends in the real estate business, they have to show it. But I never thought about what happens if they can't, physically be there, what would happen in that process. So that's really, great. All entrepreneurs are solving problems. So it's pretty cool that or interesting too, that it came from a personal experience. So from what year, was it when you had that aha moment with that incident with your dad to like you
Yeah.
launching the product? Like, what was that time span like in you developing this into a business?
Yeah, so that day was actually Thanksgiving 2019. And it was just an idea that was brewing for some time. I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, I think it could really work. My dad and I were like talking about it. Initially, we wanted to go jump right in and go straight for building the app. We even had like the design done and everything. And then the beginning of 2020, um, I started thinking about it a little bit more, and I was like, hey, I just want to see if this works first. I want to see if this is something that, one, is really a problem, and two, something people would pay for to solve. So in 2020, I started doing like these random email campaigns that went out to real estate agents that says, hey, for this price, we'll show your property for you, just so I can see the interest. At that time, I was working full time at a property management company, and I started getting calls. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't be getting calls at my full time job for a job that I'm doing on the side, right? So I was like, wow, if I really want to make this happen, I'm gonna have to take the jump, because I can't hold a full time job and then be doing this at the same time. So I ended up getting my real estate license in like a month, because you do have to be licensed to show property. So I like
Mm.
hammered that out. I left my job in August of 2020. And then for the last couple of months of the year, I was really just trying to figure things out, like, okay, how would this work? I did like one appointment here, one appointment there. But I would say it really didn't kick off till January of last year, when I really started getting like appointments in, recurring clients, building up the business. And to this day, we're still operating via our website. So the app itself is not even out yet. And we've been able to get appointments in. Like, now I have a team of 4. We get appointments in, we're doing the appointments, we're doing open houses, we're doing all sorts of stuff. The app itself is in development right now, but I think what's really great about our story, and this particular story, is that we started off just kind of like bootstrap, just getting in the field, right? Just making it work. And now when the app is released next year, I'm just moving my current clients onto a better platform. I'm not selling them the idea again, right? Like, they're already sold, right? They're using the service over and over and over already. Now I'm like, okay, here's an app that's going to make this 10 times easier for you. Everything in one place, all the notifications in one place. So yeah, that's pretty much the timeline. Last year, I was pretty much working by myself, right? So it was just me in the field. And I think that really gave me some invaluable experience, I think, compared to any of my competitors, because how many, founders are actually doing the grunt work and doing everything in the beginning to really figure out, how do we make this work? What are the things that agents are worried about when someone else goes and shows either a client, or what type of notifications are they expecting? I was able to literally curate all of that by being in the field and doing the first 300 appointments myself. um,
Mm.
and then from there, like, now I'm a little bit I'm easing myself out of the field so I can focus on, of course, the bigger things for the business. But now I have a team of 4, so I don't need to be doing the appointments anymore.
That is amazing. And you kind of got like that market research and like real world experience all rolled into one, where you like know exactly what the needs are going to be for your app. And so that's pretty amazing, because a lot of people don't have that a lot of times, but they just, like you said, go out and create an app and they don't really know if there's a problem, a big enough problem that
Yeah.
needs to be solved. So that's pretty cool that you did that and you were smart enough to do that. For you, like, is your dad playing a role in the business? Is he a part of it? What is his involvement been?
Sure, good question. So he serves more as an inspiration. He still does his own stuff in real estate. He has his brokerage. He's doing his own things. I'm pretty much the person who's spearheading the business, show agents, and kind of leading everything that we do there. I still tap into him for like advice, right? He serves more as like an advisor, more than anything, but pretty much like the day to day huge decisions that I'm making for the business, things like that is pretty much on me.
That's what's up. And
Yeah.
so you're a girl. Did you grow up in Broward County? Tell me about your background and, like, your family structure and where you're from. And at High Low News, I like for people to know like where people are from, so we can have like some more relatable experiences or learn from each other.
Yeah, yeah. So My parents are both Caribbean. My dad's Jamaican and my mom is St. Lucian. They were both born overseas. They met here. And so I was born at Jackson Memorial in Miami. Yeah. And then we lived in Miami for a little while, but really by the time I was like 5 or 6, we had started living in Broward County, like in Sunrise area. And then I think where we've really been for the longest has been like Coral Springs, Coconut Creek area. That's where I've been for like the past 15, 20 years. But thanks to the nature of my business, I drive all over South Florida. So I am everywhere all the time. But yeah, so most of my childhood has been in Broward.
What high
Um,
school did you go to?
I went to Coral Springs High.
Oh, okay, okay. And did you go to college here in South Florida?
Yeah, so I went to FIU for undergrad.
Hey,
I Yeah.
another
Fellow
Panther.
Panther, yes. So I went there. I did 2 bachelor's degrees while I was there. And then when I graduated in 2017, I went directly into my master's program at Nova Southeastern. So I did my MBA here, and now it's just so crazy how everything's full circle. So now I have my co-working space here at the Levan Center at NSU, which is like a hub for innovation, which has been amazing. So it's just really great to tap into like my alma mater and like especially as I'm growing my business and just getting the support from both. Like I've done programs at FIU for show agents, I've done programs at NSU for show agents, just like really feeling the support, it's been amazing.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And speaking of support, because how we connected through the Endeavor Lab for Black Founders,
Yeah.
they're creating this support system in this ecosystem for Black founders. Tell me about your experience with them and what you've learned and taken into your business already.
Yeah, so Endeavor Lab was amazing. I just feel like it was so short. It went by so fast. I wish it could have been longer. But yeah, this past cohort was focused on Black founders. And I think one of the most important elements about any program really is the community you start to build and the network that you get ingrained in. And so these other founders in the program who I had, well, there's a few people I knew, from before, just from a variety of things in the area, but majority of them I hadn't met before. And so now on the other side of the program, these are like my friends, right? Like my fellow founder friends that we can talk about like challenges we're experiencing in our businesses and leverage each other's experience to solve those issues or just have a second ear, and especially as a solo founder myself, like I need that type of community and that type of network and other people to kind of, like I said, brainstorm and ask questions on their experience as well. So I think that would be like number one for me, just the people that I've met and the community that we've kind of created, and relationships that we've created from the program. Um, Other than that, I feel that the content was really good. I love the structure of the program. It's completely different. We have an opportunity to present a challenge that our company is facing, and like everyone in the cohorts like giving you advice on it, like just really cooperating and helping you. Then we have like the master classes, which of course is awesome. We cover topics from marketing to sales development to how to fundraise, if you're interested in fundraising. So all of those things, even if you don't use them today, just hearing it and being reminded and learning these tips and tricks is so invaluable because there is going to be a time when those things come up. So yeah, overall it was just an amazing experience. All I have to say is I wish it was longer. I wish it was longer, but I understand we need to get back out there and work on our businesses. But no, it was a great experience. The support from the team is amazing. They're there like it feels like 24/7, even though it's really only during the day, but they're just super cooperative and willing to connect you with who you need to be connected with to really take your business to the next level.
That's so amazing that you have that experience in that community now. So I've heard so many great things about Endeavor Lab, especially what they're doing with Black founders. So I was like, yes, whatever we can do to extend our platform to help elevate and
Yeah.
magnify what those businesses are doing, like let's do it. For me, I want to know, you're talking about your business and building it. I want to know, like, what advice would you give to someone, especially as Black women who want to get into start a small business, or in your case, a startup, what advice would you give them who want to get into this that you wish you had when you began?
Yeah. My number one thing that I always say is just get started, right? Like, and I think you can also see that as a part of my story. I didn't wait until I had, X dollars in the bank in order to build this app. I jumped right in and I'm like, okay, let me just figure out how I can make this work right now with what I have. And there's this saying that I always, that I've heard in the past that says, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product or your service, you started too late. You need to just get in there. You just need to start. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter. Like, you just got to get out there and learn. And I think that has been one of my strongest points. Now, when I talk about my business, I am so confident in everything that I say because I quote unquote lived through it, right? Like, I was in the field. I know what my customers want. I know who my customer is. No one can tell me different because I jumped in. And yeah, there's going to be ups and downs, but that's the beauty of being a business owner. You have to be able to ride those waves. So that would definitely be one of my first tips, is just like get in there, start now. And then secondly, don't be afraid to like ask for help. I think a lot of times, especially as a female founder, right? Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times you feel like you can do everything yourself. Um, and granted, you may be able to, but it's going to be a lot harder. Like, there's a network out there, there's community out there, there's people out there that will support you. And like, through programs, of course, like Endeavor, you really start to see that. Like, there's people who you can ask questions to, and they'll be able to at least put you on the right path, right? So just being resourceful, not being afraid to put yourself out there and ask questions. I would say that would be my second piece of advice.
No, that's really great advice, and I hope anybody who's listening or watching this and takes that in and implements what you're saying. Nadia, do you guys have any things coming up, or any news that or any big announcements that you have going on, or anything that you just want to share that we didn't touch on during the interview?
Sure. So nothing super big yet. Our beta version of our app is going to be released sometime in Q1 of next year. Don't have an actual date yet, because we're still working on it, of course, and it's a moving target at this point. But that is something I'm very, very excited about for next year, especially in the beginning, just to have the app in the App Store, and start getting more people onboarded using the service with the platform. But yeah, that's probably the biggest news that we have coming up. But like I said, it's nothing set in stone.
Okay. And congratulations on everything. I actually saw that you were in the first cohort of the FIU Venture Miami program.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the second cohort. So I was like, oh, hey,
Oh,
what's up?
really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's also another great program.
Yeah. That's what's up. I see you doing your thing, like you're taking the steps. And so salute to you for all that you're doing. Before I let you go, I want people to know how they can connect with you, how they can support you, sign up if they are interested in being a customer. Let them know, like, how do they connect with Nadia and Show Agents?
Sure. If you want to connect with me personally, I suggest you connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the fastest way to get to me. If you're interested in show agents and or using the service, you can go directly to our website. It's myshowagent.com. We are actively accepting appointments, so feel free to use our reservation tab to reserve a showing assistant for your next appointment. Other than that, you can also follow us on Instagram at myshowagent.com. Thank you.
Yes. And look, if you're watching, look at the screen. We have the information on the screen, her website, her Instagram, her LinkedIn. So make sure you're spelling everything right. Guys, let's make sure we're supporting our own. But also too, whether you're an ally, whoever you are, this is a product for everybody. Let's support. She's home team. She's from South Florida. So let's make sure that we're working and telling people about Show Agents. Nadia, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us and, supporting Black-owned media, local media. It means a lot. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You are now officially a friend of the show. Any news, any announcements, anything you want to come on and talk about here at Hello News, just consider us a friend and another resource for you. I appreciate you and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Can We Talk? Maybe next week I'll put on some makeup. Maybe I won't, but it doesn't matter what I look like. It's about the guests. I have to point it out because I'm feeling a little self-conscious, but I thank you guys for tuning in regardless of what I look like. Thank you guys for supporting this content. Make sure you following us on all social media, sign up for our newsletter, and we'll see you next time on Can We Talk, where we're talking to dope people like Nadia doing great things in the community. We'll see you next time. Bye.